Hey everybody! Welcome to tonight's special live stream. We'll get started in a few minutes. Music you are hearing is courtesy of Pipe Dream Hits. This is music by streamers for streamers. Find them over at pipedreamhits.com. If you put Pipe Dream Hits music in your live streams, YouTube videos, TikTok videos, Instagram Reels, whatever the cool kids are doing these days, you won't get any copyright strikes from them. This is a special Tuesday night stream. Normally I don't stream on Tuesdays, but this is one to thank the Twitch followers. I've reached a milestone on Twitch with 100 followers, so I want to go ahead and reward them with a special stream. So, hope you all will sit back, relax, enjoy. Please participate in chat. Go ahead and ask questions, because this is kind of more of a free-flowing, free-form stream. I will be doing work during the stream, but we're here more or less to chat with you guys and see what's going on. Gonna go ahead and put up the information about the Discord. Go over here. All right. Alright, I'm going to turn the music down a little bit in the background here, because that music on my end can get a little overpowering. Alright, come on here, you. There we go. There we go. All right. Well, let's go ahead and get started. The intent this evening is, of course, to walk through the first part of my process. Usually it takes me several hours to build a Monster Monday show between all of the brainstorming that I do and the research that I do and the other kind of preparation. I don't know that I will be streaming for all of those hours while I build this tonight, and I don't know that I will build it all tonight, but I want to at least go through the first part of the process and show you how I begin. Alright, so I mentioned in this week's Monster Monday last night that next week's monster for October 4th is going to be the Core Spawn Worm. And that was chosen a bit at random. You guys always are welcome to go onto the YouTube archives or go into the Discord or leave comments on the Twitch and ask for monsters that you might want to see on Monster Monday. And if I haven't done it before, I'll go ahead and do one. Or if it's been a long time since I've done that, I may go back and do it again and refresh my Monster Monday from long ago. So, the Core Spawn Worm is a monster that came to D&D out of the Explorer's Guide to Wildemount. So it's a alright, so now I need to go, here we go. This is the page I need to get to. I need to go over here, and I've pulled up the Core Spawn Worm in D&D Beyond to talk a little bit about it and see a little bit what it does, and then we'll go and we'll start looking at how it relates to other monsters in Wildemount, where it comes from, and then see by looking at that if we can't get an idea of some of the older monsters or monsters in 5e and in older editions that Matt Mercer may have been inspired by when he was creating the Core Spawn Worm. So this is a huge, or actually a gargantuan, if we want to be technical about the size, gargantuan monster. It's classified as an aberration, which in D&D terms basically means it's extraplanar. It doesn't have its origins in the natural world. It comes from some other far realm. And so a lot of times in D&D, things like that are aberrations are really totally alien beings, stuff like the Illithids, the Mind Flayers, stuff like the Aboleths, those weird underwater psionic creatures. I believe that Beholders also are aberrations in 5e. So all kinds of these like really weird alien things come from there. And also, if 5e ever does like a Cthulhu crossover, I would expect most of the stuff that comes out of the Cthulhu mythos would be classified as an aberration in D&D terms, at least how they're using those terms in 5e. So it's a pretty tough monster, armor class 18, nearly 300 hit points. It can burrow at 40 feet, and it is, in fact, an underground creature. It's a tunneler, and it's interesting that it's got this property called Radiant Mirror and Illumination. Well, we know it's Illumination because later on we learn that this thing has primordial lava, or it's made out of primordial lava that's always like right on the edge of hardening. So it's kind of like those tube lava things that you might have seen from if you've ever watched pictures of volcanoes in places like Hawaii, other sorts of places where the lava just kind of oozes down the mountain in almost like these tubes, and it kind of, the outer shell will sort of harden and blacken, and then it'll sort of break free and almost like glowing fiery toothpaste that'll just kind of ooze down the mountain that way. That's what it always reminds me of. It always reminds me of like a little ribbon of toothpaste going down the mountain. But that's sort of what this thing is made of. It's got barbed tentacles. It tunnels through solid rock and leaves a 10-foot diameter tunnel in its wake. What other kind of monster tunnels through solid rock and leaves a big tunnel in its wake. We've done it not too long ago on Monster Monday. Hint, 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 hint. So then it has these barbed tentacles, and it has a bite. Now, something I've noticed, 5e, hey, Wizards of the Coast, 5e, hey, D&D Beyond, you're not always consistent in how you do features of a monster. This thing is a gargantuan monster, and it has a bite attack. And buried in the text of the bite attack, it says that it can swallow a creature. Well, guess what? There are some monsters that are of a large enough size that have the swallow feature, and that is a separate feature. So it would be really, really nice. Be really, really nice, D&D Beyond. Be really, really nice, Wizards of the Coast. If your creature has the ability to swallow other creatures, always make that a separate feature. Make that a tag that can be searched. Don't put it as sometimes it's part of the bite attack and sometimes it's a separate feature. It should always be listed separately because the swallow is always part and parcel of the bite attack. If you get swallowed, you're going to take the bite damage in every single case. All right. So this is the correspond worm. So now that we know a little bit about that as the monster, what I like to do is I like to go back to the primary source and I like to see, okay, how does this fit into the bestiary? So within Wildemount, there's elder evils that assault the multiverse in strange and calamitous ways. And then as we read through here, we have a little bit in terms of geographic areas where they affect Wildemount. Okay, that's fine. But they're a subterranean breed of heralds, servants, foot soldiers, and lieutenants of the elder evils, awakened in the depths of the cataclysmic actions of the betrayer gods and their minions. So they appear on the surface world in the wake of seismic events, such as that which created a bottomless Miscath pit of eastern Winadir. And warlocks and cultists sometimes gather to hasten the arrival of corresponding the material plane, forcing their arcane power on areas of natural seismic instability when the signs and the stars are right. So there's then 4 different kinds of correspond. There's a crawler, which is a small aberration, kind of an insectile type of thing. Then there's an emissary, which is a flying medium aberration. Again, very insectile. And this guy has crystal spores that it shoots out of little holes in its head up here. So it's kind of a terrifying thing. Then there's the correspond seer, which is a humanoid who has been corrupted by eldritch power of the elder evils through blasphemous rites or accursed encounters. And so humanoid who winds up having these insectile legs and this like really weird face thing over here. And psychedelic orb. It's got a psychedelic orb which attack. So it's like being at a Pink Floyd concert on acid. And then and that one is also a medium creature. And then we have the worm, invertebrate heart, and this is the Gargantuan Aberration. Now, I I kind of was hoping maybe there would be some sort of information about, you know, how these guys interact with each other, whether they, you know, but that all, pardon me, all of that information may actually be information that was covered in the Critical Role show and was not put into this. Now, I'm familiar with Critical Role. I like Critical Role. At this point, I am actually working my way through watching the first campaign of Critical Role. So not the Mighty Nine, which is the second one, but the first campaign, Vox Machina. And part of the reason why I didn't watch a whole lot of Critical Role before starting my own streaming games is that I didn't want to fall into the trap of getting too inspired by the way Matt Mercer does things, because he really is a very charismatic DM, and it'd be very easy just to kind of fall into being a Matt Mercer fanboy. And if you do that, you're always going to be a Matt Mercer fanboy, and you're never going to find your own voice. So I wanted to wait until I kind of had established my own games and my own players and my own way of doing things, and then go back and really focus on picking up what I could from Matt Mercer and Critical Role. So I purposefully sort of stayed away from Critical Role as too much of an inspiration to just avoid kind of falling into the trap of trying to do things the way that they do it. So that's neither here nor there. All right, but the point is, it doesn't give us a whole lot of information of how these different correspond creatures interact with each other and how they relate to the overall, correspond family of critters, if you will. All right, so now that I know what this is, I want to go to 5e, and I want to look for monsters that have some of the same qualities. And so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put all the filters on that I think there are, that I think will work. And then I'm going to start backing them off until I get a nice subset. So the first thing I'm going to do is look for size. I'm going to look for huge and gargantuan creatures. Why? Because those are the ones that are likely to be able to swallow a medium-sized or smaller creature. Then I want to look for the tags. And I want to see if there's a tag called swallow. There might be, there might not be. There is not. Okay. Then I want to look for, let's see, is there an attack type? Let's see. I don't have any. Senses, save, proficiency, skill, condition, damage, mythic, legendary, vulnerable, language, movement, monster tags, source category. We don't have a bite as a tag, do we? Nope, we don't have a bite as a tag. Alright. So I guess the only thing we're going to have is we're going to have the size category, and then I'm going to want to filter it first by aberrations to see if there's any other aberrations that might have these same properties. So I set my size, I set this, and we have a total of 5 monsters. So we've got the Core Spawn Worm, we have the Greater Star Spawn, which is an aberration, Greater Star Spawn Emissary, and this comes from Van Richten's Guide to Ravenloft. And okay, it has this Lashing Maw, Unearthly Bile. Okay, legendary actions, attack, Orb Space. Okay, it doesn't have any of the... I don't think this has the... Yeah, this doesn't have the swallow type of thing. And it's not kind of a burrowing creature. It's got a fly speed, but it doesn't have a burrowing speed. So that's really not something... let's go take a look at the Neo-Otyugh, see what it has. Bite. Okay, it's a poison bite. It doesn't have the swallow thing. Neo-Otyugh. It's a huge aberration. Neothelid, Gargantuan. It has tentacle attack, acid breath, creature sense. It's not a... okay. So this thing does have a swallow attack, but it's a tentacle type monster from the Underdark. Okay, so here we go. Neothelid. Yeah, Neothelid. That's... there you are. So Neothelid, you are a potential monster that we can look at as a possible inspiration here for the Core Spawn Worm. We can look to see about its history in D&D. Okay, so we'll go back, and then we'll look at the Skittering Horror. Skittering Horror is huge. It doesn't have the bite. Okay. So then what I want to do is I want to change back to all monsters. And I want to do one more type of thing, movement type. I want to look at burrowing. So huge and gargantuan creatures that burrow. And we have a bunch of dragons. Bunch of dragons. Okay, then we get some of these big worms. And we have some things that we can look at. And, oh yes, guess what? Purple worm. That's exactly the one I was mentioning, or I was alluding to when I said, "Gee, burrows and leaves a tunnel behind." Doesn't that sound like when we talked about recently on Monster Monday? So let's take a look at the Boreworm, which is a construct. Now this is from the Waterdeep Dungeon of the Mad Mage. So And this it says right in here that it was modeled after a purple worm. So it's kind of a derivative of the purple worm already. Then we can look at the frost salamander. Bite, but it doesn't have the swallow. Frostworm. The frostworm. Okay, here it has the swallow thing. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to... oh, well, Frostworm Explorer's Guide to Wildemount. So that is that's also from the same source. Now, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to potentially mark this because there's something in the back of my brain, tickling in my mind, that says the Frostworm actually appeared in earlier editions of D&D. So, I want to go ahead and save this as a potential inspiration for the core spawn worm. Imrith, that's a dragon. Necrotic Centipede. Baldur's Gate, descent into Avernus. Okay, now, notice this. Notice how some of these others, like this frostworm, just had the bite, and then buried inside the bite attack is the swallow. There's not a separate feature tag for it. But here, for the Necrotic Centipede, it does have a separate feature tag. And this is the thing that I was talking about that annoys me with 5e. They're not consistent. You know, be consistent when you do this. If it has a swallow, then go ahead and put that in as a separate feature of the monster. I guess what they're saying is that for the centipede, swallow is a separate action, whereas in some of these other monsters, swallow is just an incidental. But really for consistency's sake and to make it easy to hunt these kinds of features, it would be preferable to go ahead and make that a separate, have a separate entry for swallow. Whether you're going to say it's a separate action or whether you're going to say it's part of another action, make that a tag that can be searched on these monsters. Because, and then for all such other things that are, you know, similar attack types and whatnot, whether they are part of an other action or whether they're a separate action on their own, they should be a tag that can be searched. Because DMs may be looking for things like that. So, Necrotic Centipede. Now, I'm not sure whether Necrotic Centipede has ever appeared in D&D before, but I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to set that one aside, and I'll come back to it. Okay, Ogremok, that is one of the elemental princes of Earth, so that's a completely different type of thing. Purple worm, obviously, that's a clear inspiration. So we're going to set the purple worm aside. And then another one that is a clear inspiration is the Remoraz. The reason the Remoraz is because the Remoraz is that big centipede type critter that lives in the Arctic, but its body is so hot that you take heat damage when you get swallowed by it. So we're going to put that in, set that one aside as a potential inspiration for our core spawn worm. Then we'll go ahead and we'll take a look at the Tomb Tapper. This is Icewind Dale. Okay. Now this is completely different. So it's huge and it's a construct, but it's a humanoid type thing. It's not a worm type thing. So we're not gonna set that one as a. Now there is just a plain old worm that is from Guildmaster's Guide to Ravnica. Now this is one of those things where this is a monster from Magic the Gathering, but it's clearly a monster in Magic the Gathering that was inspired by the purple worm from D&D. So it's probably not actually an inspiration for the core spawn worm, but because it shares some features, it is useful for us to look at in Monster Monday, and that helps us get some ideas of some ways we could reskin a core spawn worm if we wanted to. So we're going to go ahead and duplicate that tab. We'll come back to this list of monsters, and then we have the young purple worm. Okay, so next, and then probably there's one more over here. The Zikzak Rishka, an undead critter from Candlekeep Mysteries. Okay, Zikzak Rishka, that's an undead dragon. So that is not the same kind of thing. So we now have our list of suspects in 5e. So we have the plain old worm, the Remoras, the purple worm, Necrotic Centipede, Frostworm, and Neothalid. So if I'm going to let my OCD get the better of me, I'm going to put these in like alphabetical order. And there's a reason I do this, because it helps me with my searching. If I put these in order, then it helps me when I go back to the older editions and I look at old monsters. And I'm going to start that. I've already opened up some resources. And oh, by the way, if you guys didn't know, if you're a DM and if you had fallen in love like I did with super useful encounter building tool, Kobold Fight Club, about 2 months ago that stopped working. And looking on Reddit and everything, found out that the original people who had created Kobold Fight Club had decided to quit supporting it. It had been a labor of love, been a kind of a hobby thing for them, and they just had too much going on and they couldn't do that. So it had just sort of withered on the vine. Well, now some new people have come along and have taken over with apparently the blessing of the original programmers, and they've created Kobold Plus Fight Club. So it's at koboldplus.club, and it's basically everything that Kobold Fight Club was, and I think they've updated some of the sources. So they've got a few new sources. in terms of the official sources, as well as all the array of third-party sources that they used to have. So those are fun for looking at and building encounters. And this is a tool I use when I talk about when you put the core spawn worm in an encounter, what party level is it appropriate for, and then if you want to make it a hard encounter for higher level parties, what kind of things can you throw into the encounter with it to build it up. So we are going to start our search for inspirations of the core spawn worm by jumping into the Wayback Machine and going all the way back to 1974. This is Dungeons & Dragons Rules for Fantastic Medieval War Games. Campaigns playable with paper and pencil and miniature figures. Book 2, Monsters and Treasure. Yes, this actually is the original, the truly original version of Dungeons and Dragons. So now we have a list of all the monsters that they created back in 1974. And hey, guess what? Purple worms were in there. And then okay, so let's see. Alright, number / just flying seed, okay. Then there's, so you see these tables were very different back then. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a search for the word swallow. Okay, so swallow appears 3 times, and guess what? Yes, purple worms. Huge and hungry monsters lurk nearly everywhere just beneath the surface of the land. Length of 50 feet, diameter of 10 feet, poison sting in the tail. Swallow up to ogre-sized opponents in 1 gulp. Okay. In 6 turns, a swallowed creature will be dead. 12 turns will be totally digested and irrecoverable. They never check morale and will always attack. So, the purple worm. Okay, that's the only monster in original D&D that talks about this. So, what we do is we go here and we go to our mechanical features of core spawn worm. Okay. And we're going to original D&D. We're going to label this inspirations. And then we're going to label this core spawn worm. And we'll put an underline there. We'll put an underline there. Okay. So purple worm. And this is the original Dungeons and Dragons. Dungeons and Dragons Book 2. Book 2. Book 2. Monsters and Treasure. Page 14. Okay. So then we will go and look at the Rules Cyclopedia. This is the combined, essentially the combined Monster Manual, Player's Handbook, and DMG for the basic edition of Dungeons & Dragons, which came out after original D&D. Now, you ask, well, what's the difference between the basic edition, which is now basically called, or now usually called the BECMI edition, because it was one edition of D&D, but it was broken up into 5 different rule sets. B for basic, E for expert, C for companion, M for master, and I for immortal. So, put that together, people just call it the BECMI edition. This original rule book was always black and white and didn't really have a whole lot of supplements created for it. When they got into making basic D&D, that's when you started seeing the first of the real extensive sets of modules. If you've ever heard of people wax poetic about an old module called the Keep on the Borderlands or the Caves of Chaos, that comes out of the basic edition of D&D. And then some of the other fantastical earliest references to Greyhawk came out of there. Greyhawk was Gary Gygax's home game world, the setting where he ran D&D games in his home. The Blackmoor, which is now a very rare and hard to find many references to Blackmoor these days, but that was Dave Arneson's homebrew setting. So you had kind of like the Forgotten Realms is a game setting for D&D. You had Greyhawk in Gary Gygax's game. You had Blackmoor in Dave Arneson's game. I think Forgotten Realms was Ed Greenwood's original home campaign. And then, of course, Wildemount is from Matt Mercer's homebrew world setting. All right. So what we're going to do here is we're going to look for the word swallow. And we are going to take a look at this. Now, swallow, some monsters are large enough to swallow a victim whole. And it talks about the mechanics of swallow in this edition. So, now, here's a... Okay. Okay. So we have a Sakelia, or a Casselia, maybe. Right? Casselia? Is that how you'd pronounce that? I'm not sure how you'd pronounce that. Casselia, I'm guessing. Since a C before an A is usually a hard C. But it's kind of in front of one of those diphthongs, so I don't know whether it's a Casselia. Right? Yeah, Casselia. This is basic D&D. Or basic edition. Yeah, this is rules. Media. Page 162. The reason I put the page references in here now is that on Monday night when I'm getting ready to run Monster Monday, I can very easily go back and pull up these resources and get them prepped. So I don't have to go hunt for these things again. I've already done the hunting. And I put it in here, and then I load this up in my... Okay. Alright, so... there's... Alright, so there's dinosaur thing, but that's really not going to be an inspiration here. So, again, large aquatic, large land. Okay. Carnivorous dinosaurs. Again, we're talking about that. Okay. Then let's see. Oh, so here's dragons. And then it talks about a dead victim of a dragon is swallowed. Giant sturgeon. Well, that's a fish. So we're not going to worry about that. Giant manta ray. Also a sea creature. Not going to worry about that as a... Okay, nightshade. Aha. So that is a... Whew. So night crawler. Nightshades always carry treasure of great value, which they swallow and carry with them. Okay, never mind. Night crawler, similar to a purple worm, 100 feet long, 10 to 15 feet wide, or black in color. So, night crawler, that is a monster we want to talk about in relation to this. So do Nightcrawler, page 197. Then okay, so then Purple Worm 201. Page 201. Alright, hey, hello there viewers. How you guys doing? Hope you're doing well. There you go. Alright. Casino Argalta. Glad you could join us tonight. Alright, so we're then gonna go. Okay, we're still on the Purple Worm. Giant Toad. Okay, Giant Toad is not a worm-like creature, so we're not going to count that as a thing. Tyrannosaurus Rex. Alright, so again, another inconsistency. We had dinosaur category with a whole bunch of different dinosaurs listed, but now we have a entire separate listing for Tyrannosaurus Rex. And nonetheless, it's not a worm-like burrowing creature, so it's not going to end. A killer whale, a mammal that lives in the sea, so it's not an inspiration. Great whale, same thing. And then, Okay, now we're out of the monsters. Let's talk about swallowed poison and then what the swallow characteristic is. Alright, so that does it for that source. But let's go ahead and take a look and see if there are any other kinds of creatures in first edition or basic edition that might qualify. So we have the Great Annelid, which, hey, guess what? That's a big worm kind of creature. So yes, definitely. Full-grown annelids measure 1,000 feet long and 25 feet in diameter. Okay. So, yes. A big, huge monster. Quite a bit larger than the purple worm. Definitely an inspiration for the core spawn worm. So let's go ahead and throw the Great Annelid. Or if it's not an inspiration for it, at least it's a monster you want to consider when you're thinking about ways you can reskin. So this is the Great Annelid. Great Annelid, and this source book is the DMR2 creature catalog. DMR2, creature catalog, page 10. And then we're going to go through and we're going to look and see in this. Okay. Alright, then we have a brain collector. Okay, yeah. It's kind of a planar monster. Nope. That's not a worm-like creature. A giant carp, that's a fish. Frog, nope. Leviathan. A desert leviathan or a marine leviathan. Okay. Huge worm-like creatures, massive gaping jaws. Largest known desert leviathans have been reported at 500 feet long and 40 feet wide. So yes, they are rarely seen by civilized beings. Definitely, this thing, inspired by, well, probably the purple worm. Probably all of these kinds of things were inspired by Dune, because I think, didn't Frank Herbert write Dune in the 1950s? And original D&D came out in the 70s, so yeah. I think Dune, it's safe to say that Dune was probably an inspiration for all of these kind of critters. Okay, so this is the Desert Leviathan. Yep, Leviathan page. Page 69. Okay. So page 69, then the Marine Leviathan, fine, that's okay. Okay, this is a slime worm. Okay. Giant worms secrete sticky substance that coats their backs. Royal and treasure hoards, so their backs are covered with coin, jewels, weapons, armor. There's a chance a slime worm will be indistinguishable from a large pile of treasure. Ooh. They swallow their prey whole on an unmodified successful attack roll of 18 or more. So, yes. You know we're putting this in here because this is a great reskinning option. What is it called? Slimeworm. Slimeworm, page 96. Alright, and then, yeah, okay. So that's the end of the creatures in that resource. So now we go to the Basic Edition Creature Catalog, or Beckme Edition Creature Catalog. And we're going to look for anything that can swallow enemies, and it's kind of burrowing worm-like critter. Alright, so again we have the swallow mechanic, then a giant fish. Alright, so Gargantua is a gigantic fish. And here's our desert leviathan again. So we don't need to talk about him because we already have him. Marine leviathan. All right. Slime worm. Okay, that's our buddy slime worm again. And then brain collector. Okay. So that's just another source, but it has some of the same information that we had from the other one. So nothing from that book that's new. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, this is weird. The way they did this one PDF is weird because it's not. It's very strange. So, Bestiary of Dragons and Giants. I don't think we're going to find anything in here, but it's a source that has monsters, and so I always pull it up. All right. Swallow doesn't appear, so there's nothing in the Bestiary of Dragons and Giants for Basic Edition that talks about monsters that swallow things. So that is it for First Edition, or for Basic Edition. Now, what we've got to do is we've got to go and we've got to look at the monster resources for First Edition D&D, which is also known as AD&D. And in my library, I have 3 of those. I have the Monster Manual, the Fiend Folio, and the Monster Manual 2. And I know that in D&D, monsters get published in all kinds of other different sources like adventures and things like that, but I could spend a whole month researching every episode of Monster Monday, and I usually have about 6 hours to do it, so I have to limit my search to some things. So I can't search everything that they've ever published, which would be nice. Wish I could. Wish I had that kind of time. But I don't. Because I got lots of other stuff to be doing. So, swallow. Okay. Now here, in this edition, in AD&D, swallow was a special attack type. And we can very quickly and easily look at these things. And okay, we're talking about dinosaur. That's not an inspiration for a worm. Okay, again, another dinosaur. And a T-Rex, another dinosaur. Giant frog. Nope. Then we have the giant gar. Nope. That's not a... Okay. And then the purple worm. Okay, so the purple worm, page 80 in this resource. So we'll go ahead to this and we'll say AD. Yeah, we'll do first edition. Purple worm. Monster manual, page 80. Then, okay, solid creature. Manta ray. That's a sea creature, so not exactly what we're talking about. Remorhaz. Yes, here's our buddy Remorhaz. Okay. So, Remorhaz. No. Remorhaz. Page what? Page 82. Then, okay, prey swallowed whole. Shark. Giant shark. Then let's see. Yep, giant shark, megalodon. Alright. Let's take a look at what this is. A whale. Okay, sea creature. 29. Alright, so that's it for our creatures in the first edition Monster Manual. Now let's go and take a look at the Fiend Folio. Fiend Folio, do you have any kind of creatures that do that? No, you don't. We can just look through here and see if anything looks... Babbler, giant bloodworm. Okay. Oh! You know why? Because this is another... You see this? See what pointer I'm getting? I'm just getting the arrow. That means that they didn't even do an OCR scan of this thing. It's just an image, so you can't search the text of it. So, giant bloodworm, only attack if hungry. Fast in a suckered mouth. Okay, particularly vulnerable to fire. Well, okay, so it doesn't say that these things will swallow creatures. And they're large, they're 20 feet long, so let's go ahead and just make sure. Okay, add here Elix, Algoid, Almirage, which is the little bunny rabbit. Apparition, Assassin Bug, Astral Searcher. Okay. Mindless shells of nebulous humanoid shape. Nope. The Babbler. Yeah, giant bat. Burbelang, Blind Time. Let's see, Burbelang, no. And Blind Time. Bloodhawk, tiny little hawk creature. Giant Bloodworm. And Bone Snuffer, a Buka. Buka. Bullywug, first appearance of the Bullywug. And the Bunyip. Okay, that's a aquatic beast. Resembling a seal covered in thick black fur, so no. No worm type creatures there. Let's take a look at the Carbuncle. Yep, it's a tiny little thing. Catarrhid column, nope. Or caryatid column. Caterwall, nope. Syphal, nope, that's a humanoid thing. Clubneck, nope. Bird. Coffer Corpse, no, it's an undead. Crabman. And Crypt Thing, another undead, so no. D. Dacon. It's kind of a gorilla type thing. Dark Creeper. No, it's a goblin playing at being Dracula. Ha 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 ha. Darkstalker. No. Death Dog. Nope. Death Knight. Nope. Then we have Demon. Hey, Wolf. Oh my god. Wolf, the artists in first edition D&D were not kind to you. They were not. Denzelian. Okay. Devil. Styx Devil. Okay, so nope. Devil Dog. No. Dire Corby. No, that's weird. Dire Corby. Disenchanter. It's an anteater that eats magic items. A Doom Bat. I bring you doom, doom, doom. So then we have Oriental Dragons in this one. So we have the Earth Dragon. The Sea Dragon. The Coiled Dragon. Okay, Panlung Coiled Dragon. Shenlung Spirit Dragon. Tianlung Celestial Dragon. Then we have Yulung the Carp Dragon. So no, none of these are. There's Dragonfish, no. Doomstalker, no. Elemental Princes of Evil. Hey, guess what? If you played Princes of Elemental Evil, they got your big bads right from here. So, but notice, there's more in here than there are in 5th edition. So there's Cryonax, the Elemental Cold. There's Imix, Elemental Fire. Ogremok, Elemental Earth, which looks kind of like Casper the Friendly Ghost. Olhydra, Water, and then Yancy Ben, Air. Okay, so we have Elf. You seen any elves? So there's the Drow. And then we have the Enveloper, right? Okay, so... Oh yeah, there's all of the Drow things. The Enveloper, no, it's a weird humanoid thingy McBob. Ettercap, no. Eye Killer, no. Eye of Fear and Flame. Limbless and almost spherical. It develops bat-like upper torso, body of a large snake. And the Eye of Fear and Flame. Alright, so let's go to F. Fire Drake, nope. Fire Newt, nope. Fire Snake. I don't think so. Size is small, 2 to 3 feet long, so no, it's not going to swallow a creature. Or not going to swallow a medium-sized creature, like an adventurer. Fire Toad. Nope, it's a toad. Flail Snail. Yes. Snail with a big... big... flail things on its forehead. A Forlorn. Forlorn? Or no, I'm sorry, Flind. The Flind, the Flumph. Oh, our favorite little Flumph. And the Forlorn. Nope. None of these. And the Frostman. Hey, it's the Frostman. Alright. So, let's take a look. Gowltrit. The Gambado, no. Garbug, nope. Then Giants, nope, none of the Giants. Let's go to the Giant Strider. Nope. Gibberling, not that guy. Githyanki, hey. No, that's not, and the Githzerai. Goldbug. Gorbel. Gorilla Bear. Grell. Yeah, these are not Grimlocks. Griffs. Guardian Demons. And Guardian Familiars. And we have our Hellcat. Horror Fox. Hookar. Hound of El Omen. Hornet. Huekuva. And our Ice Lizard. Oh, hey, wait a second. Let's see. Small, 3 feet long. Nope. That's not a thing. An Imorph. Size medium, no. Iron Cobra, no. Too small. Jaculi. 8 to 12 feet, no. Not quite big enough to be a thing to swallow adventurers. Kamadan. That's a weird jaguar snake thing. A Kelpie. No. A Kinku. Oh. A Kargra. No, we were just talking about the Kargra in the last Monster Monday. Kilmulus. And a Kuotoa. So then we have the Lamia. Lamia Noble. And the Lava Children. And the Lizard King. So then we have a Magnesium Spirit. You expose him to air and he catches on fire. Medium size, so no. Then Mantari. Nope. Not Measle and a Meanlock. Mephits. Nope, those are tiny little elemental-oid thingamacbobs. Mesodaemon. So no, that's not a critter, and a mite. A mite is not going to be something. Okay, so Necrophidius Deathworm. We have the Necrotic Centipede, but no. This is a large creature, but it's not the same thing. It's a human skull on top of a large skeletal snake body. So no, that's not a thing that's going to swallow. Needleman, Nilbog, Nonafel, Cat o' Nine Tails, nope, and Norkers, and Nycadaemon, nope, none of them. Now the Ogrillon, no, and the Osquip, nope, neither one of them. So then let's go to the Pengalon. Medium-sized, crazy head on disembodied entrails. Yuck. Flies by its hair. Yuck. Then the Pernicon. Nope, that's not big enough, and it's not a worm-type creature. Phantom Stalker. Nope. Poltergeist. Nope. Protein Polymorph. No. Intelligent cellular colonies, the ability to assume any form they choose. But no, not big enough at large size to swallow medium creatures whole. So, Quaggoth, nope, and Quipper, nope. Quillen, or Cullen, nope. Then we have a Retriever. Hey, it sounds like a nice thing, but it's a big spider-like monster. Nope. No, thank you. Revenant, no. Rothay. 4-foot tall water buffalo critter. Then we have the Sandman, Scarecrow, Screaming Devilkin, Shadow Demon, Sheet Ghoul, and Sheet Phantom. Shocker. That's a shocker. Skeleton Warrior. A Skulk. Then we have our slide. Blue slide, death slide, gray slide, green slide, red slide. Sendam, Lord of the Insane, Slide Lord, Igorl. Hey, we just did all the slides a few weeks ago. So then we have the Snyad, or Pesty. Nope, it's a small humanoid type thing. Son of Caius. Nope. Stun Jelly. Nope. Susurrus. No, it's not a worm type swallowing things. Sverfniblin. Nope. Symbiotic Jelly. Symbiotic Jelly. Okay. You guys, weird names for these critters. Okay. Now, Tabaxi, Catman. Much different take on a Tabaxi in first edition than 5e, right? Okay, because they are feline with some humanoid characteristics instead of being humanoid with feline characteristics in 5e. Alright, so small, no, Tentamort. It's a tentacle creature, Tetherian. Okay, no. Thakwa, rockworm. No, but it's a small creature, so it can't swallow things. A Thork. A throat leech. Stork-like birds. Metallic storks with feathers made of copper. Tiger fly. Why did the tiger fly? I don't know. Because he walked onto the airplane, maybe. Terraphag, Trillic, Troll. We have the giant troll, giant two-headed troll, ice troll, spirit troll, tween. Okay, medium-sized critter. Yeah, I hate it when they don't make the text of these things searchable, because then you gotta just literally go through every single friggin' monster. Umpleby and the urchin. So no, these are... None of these are the right type or the right size. So V, Vision. And Vodyanoi. The Volt. Vortex. Whipweed. Wither Stench. Skunk Beast. Witherweed. The Zill and the Zvart. I think they're both small critters. No, the Zill is a medium. The Zvart is a small. Yellow Musk Creeper is a plant type thing. And then Yellow Musk Zombie. So, nothing in that book that will help us. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then we're going to take a look and see. Okay, a Behir. Well, now interesting. Snake-like reptilian monster with a dozen legs allow it to move with considerable speed and climb well. Alright, I'm gonna say no on this one because this is a crawling creature. This is not a burrowing creature. The reskinning options for something like a core spawn worm, it's got to be burrowing. It's got to be large enough to swallow a creature whole. This is large enough to swallow a creature whole, but it's not a burrowing creature. So I don't think. Let's just be sure it doesn't burrow. Yeah. Doesn't burrow. Alright. So then giant catfish, no, that's a fish. Okay, now. Yeah, that's more of the giant catfish. Cave cricket. It's large, but it's an insect type thing. Frogamoth. Okay. Ooh. Frogamoth is huge and weird. So that is a reptile, not a worm type thing. Vermi, it's a big fish. So that's not a thing. Okay. Then that's it for AD&D. Alright. Hey everybody. So this is just a way of thanking those of you, those 100 of you who have participated and followed in Twitch over the past. Really appreciate your continued interest in the games and other streams that we are doing, and hope that you will continue to join us for other streams in the future. I'm going to go ahead and stop the stream now because I've been going for about an hour and a half. And when I am doing a stream on my own and I'm the only person talking, about an hour and a half. My voice is starting to get a little bit shot. Usually when I'm running a game, we can go 3-4 hours, but that's because I have the other players to be chatting, so I can rest my voice a bit. Alright everyone, thank you so much. Take care, have a wonderful week, and we hope we will see you back here on Thursday night. Remember now that we've got to 100 followers on Twitch, the next push is to reach 100 subscribers on YouTube. When we get to that milestone, we'll do another special stream. And we have our Discord. I'll put that link up again. If you want to join us on our Discord, and you have any ideas what we should do as sort of a thank you for our 100 subscriber on YouTube, let us know, or let me know, and I will take a look at that, because it's not going to be too long before we hit that milestone, I don't think. And then we have Thursday night, Sword Coast Chronicles. No stream Saturday night because I'll be at the stadium for a soccer game. Then on Sunday afternoon, we have Walker of Waterdeep again. Also, in addition to looking for 100 subscribers on YouTube, we're also starting to push for subscribers on Twitch. So, if you like the games we play, you like the regular streams that we do on Twitch, we'd love it if you are an Amazon Prime member and you haven't used that free subscription that you get. Go ahead and throw it our way. We would love it if you did that. You can also subscribe if you are a super fan and you want to just do that. We have to get to a certain size on YouTube before we can start offering special supporter subscriptions there. So we're just looking for people to hit the subscribe button, like the videos, share the videos, click that post notification bell so that you get notified every time we go live or every time we post new content. Alright everyone, thank you so much for joining us. Appreciate it. Have a wonderful, wonderful evening, great week. We hope to see you soon on the other streams. Good night.